We have one rule. Don't look outside at 3:17. Not through the window, not through the cracks, not even for a second. Because if you see it, it knows you saw. Every night, no matter the weather, something walks past our house, and it whistles. You can only hear it from certain parts of the house, the living room, the kitchen, never the bedrooms, never upstairs. And it always starts at exactly 3:17 a.m., not 3:16, not 3:18, exactly 3:17. Even when the clocks change, it doesn't. At first, it's faint, so faint you almost think you imagined it, a soft, airy whistle drifting in from the far end of the street. Then it gets clearer, closer, moving slowly, house by house, like it's following the sidewalk, like it's done this before, 1,000 times. It always passes our house, always continues on, always fades near the cul-de-sac. It never runs, it never hesitates, it never stops. Except once. My neighborhood looks normal. Quiet streets, trimmed lawns, porch lights that stay on too late. The kind of place where nothing bad is supposed to happen. And most of the time, nothing does. Because people here are lucky. Not lottery-winning lucky, but close. People find money they forgot about, get jobs they didn't apply for, recover from things they shouldn't. Gardens grow too full. Storms miss us. Things just work out. My mom calls it a million little blessings. But my dad once told me something, quietly, like he didn't want the house to hear. Nothing this good is free. I didn't understand what he meant, not until I was 6. That's when my sister Mira was born. She wasn't supposed to survive. Her lungs barely worked. Machines had to breathe for her. We moved here to be closer to the hospital, but the moment we arrived, she started getting better. Not slowly, quickly. Too quickly. The doctors couldn't explain it. My parents didn't question it. They stayed. A week after we moved in, the welcoming committee came. 4 people, friendly, smiling. They brought food, a gift basket, and a thick manila envelope. They asked to speak to my parents alone, but I still heard everything. They told my parents how special the neighborhood was, how safe, how rare. Then they told them about the whistling. Every night, 3:17 to 3:19. Never earlier, never later. And then they told them the rule. Don't look at it. They said it calmly, like it was normal, like it was necessary. The whistler wouldn't hurt anyone, wouldn't come inside, wouldn't stop, as long as no one tried to see it. But if you did, that's when things changed. The envelope they brought was filled with newspaper clippings, car crashes, house fires, people losing everything overnight. Not everyone died, but the ones who lived, something goes out of them. There's no light left. My dad believed them immediately. That same night, he installed shutters on every window. Thick canvas, heavy. They locked tight. Every night before bed, he sealed the house. At 3:17, we listened, and we never looked. Years passed. Mira grew stronger, healthier, normal, better than normal. The blessings never stopped, until Caleb moved in across the street. For the first month, they followed the rules, and nothing went wrong. Then one night, his parents had to leave town, so Caleb stayed with us. The moment they left, he started asking questions. Do you know who's out there every night? We don't talk about it, I told him. He laughed. I think it's just some guy messing with everyone. Mira went quiet. Have you ever tried looking? He asked. My stomach dropped. No? He smiled. Well, tonight we can. That's when he told us. He'd seen where my dad kept the key. I checked. He wasn't lying. When I stepped into my parents' room, something felt wrong. The air was heavier, still, like the house was holding its breath. Then, the whistling started. It wasn't inside the house, but it sounded closer than it ever had before. Too close. I ran. Mira and Caleb were already at the window. The latch was open. "Don't!" The shutter released and began to rise. The whistling stopped. That silence was worse than anything. I grabbed Mira, turned her away, shut my eyes tight. "Don't look," I whispered. The air felt thick, like something had stepped right up to the glass. I reached out blindly, touched Caleb's arm. He was shaking, violently. "Caleb?" No answer. I found the cord, pulled the shutter down. My fingers brushed the glass. It wasn't cold. It was warm, like breath. I yanked the shutter shut. Silence. I opened my eyes. Caleb was staring at the window, unblinking. Then he screamed. My parents rushed in. Lights snapped on. "He looked," I said. My dad froze. Then quietly, "Just him?" I nodded, and I saw it. Relief. The kind that makes you feel sick. Then, knock. Slow, heavy, from the front door. "Don't open it," my mom whispered. "Police," a voice said. It sounded exactly like her. "Call the police." "It's repeating," my dad said. The knocking moved, front door, back door, walls, windows, like something was circling us, waiting, not trying to get in, trying to get someone to come out. "Please," Caleb whispered. "I won't tell anyone." Tap, 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 from the window, the same one he looked through, and it stayed there all night. Morning came, the tapping stopped. Caleb didn't scream anymore after that. That was the first thing I noticed. The second was that he didn't sleep. Not that night, not the next. He just sat there, listening. Sometimes he'd tilt his head slightly, like he was trying to follow something we couldn't hear. When his parents came back, they took him home. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Then the small things started happening. His mom slipped on their front steps, broke her wrist. A few days later, his dad cut his hand, needed stitches. Then Caleb came to school with a bandage across his cheek. He said he tripped, but the cut was too clean, too straight, like it hadn't been an accident. After that, it didn't stop. It got worse. His dad got into a car accident. Not fatal, just enough to leave him limping. His mom fell again, this time down the stairs. And Caleb kept getting hurt. Bruises, cuts, scratches that looked too precise, like something was teaching him where to bleed. He stopped going to school. We still saw him sometimes, standing in the yard, facing the street, always around the same time, waiting. One night, I woke up before 3:17. I don't know why, but the house felt wrong. The whistling started, and for the first time, it didn't sound like it was moving. It sounded like it was staying right outside. Then I heard something else, faint, uneven, trying to follow the tune. Another whistle, not quite right. I didn't move, I didn't look, but I knew. Caleb wasn't inside his house anymore. 2 days later, they left. They didn't say goodbye, but I saw them. His mom's arm was in a sling. His dad walked with a brace on his leg. And Caleb,
he was covered in small marks. Not one big injury, dozens of little ones, fading, then reappearing somewhere else, like something wouldn't let them heal. A week later, I asked my dad where they went. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "It doesn't stop when you leave." A month later, a new family moved in. Everything felt normal again. The whistling passed like always, like nothing had happened. But sometimes, late at night, I think about Caleb, wherever he is now, and I wonder if he still hears it, if it still follows him, if it's still getting closer. We still live here. The whistling still happens. Every night, 3:17. We still follow the rule. We still lock the shutters. And now, my dad hides the key. Better than before, because lately, the whistling doesn't always keep moving. Sometimes it slows down when it passes our house. And last night, it didn't just stop, it stayed. And I swear, for just a second, I heard 2 whistles.